What's going on YouTube? You guys have tuned into Crypto True Crime, where we share true crime stories involving Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. You guys are in for an interesting story today. Today's story is about somebody trying to hire a hitman using Bitcoin. And, we've covered a lot of these stories. If you watch this channel, you've seen a number of stories like this. Just doing a search on the internet yields to dozens and dozens and dozens of stories about people attempting to hire hitmen with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. But this is the craziest story that I've ever seen to date. This guy you're looking at right now, who's actually a doctor, or was a doctor in Spokane, Washington, is one twisted dude. This is one of the most sadistic, devious stories that I've ever seen when it comes to hiring dark web hitmen. And that's what we're going to be telling you guys about today. Before we get into today's story and today's video, let's give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Voyager Digital, the cryptocurrency trading platform. If you use the link in the description box below, which full disclosure is an affiliate link of mine, you will get $25 in free Bitcoin for signing up. I'll also get $25 for referring you. Voyager allows you to trade over 60 different cryptocurrencies, and over 30 of these cryptocurrencies you can actually stake and earn an APR on. Polkadot is currently paying 12%, USDC 9%, ADA or Cardano 5.25%, and Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum are paying almost 5%. So some of the best APRs out there, and a very user-friendly, easy-to-use interface. So be sure to check that out. Link in the description box below. Now let's get into today's story. Sex, Bitcoin, and the dark web. A Spokane doctor is accused of trying to hire a hitman to kidnap and assault women. In a court case that reads more like a suspense novel, a Spokane doctor faces attempted kidnapping charges for trying to hire a hitman to assault one woman and kidnap and extort another woman. Ronald Craig Ilg is charged in federal court with attempted kidnapping. He's being held in Spokane County Jail pending a detention hearing Wednesday afternoon. According to court documents, Ilg's alleged crimes were brought to light by an international news organization working on a series about murder-for-hire services on the dark web. Specifically, they were investigating how people paid for those services using cryptocurrency. Two FBI agents spoke with journalists who passed on information about a man named Ronald Craig Ilk, who was utilizing the moniker SCAR-215 and communicating with various administrators and representatives from dark web websites to hire someone to harm two individuals in Spokane. Ilg is a Spokane neonatologist. I believe that's a baby doctor, and if you go on Google, you can actually find his former practice, which has since been shut down. Ilg is a Spokane neonatologist who has worked with several local hospitals and the organization Maddie's Place. The court documents say the news organization obtained the communications which describe ongoing negotiations between SCAR-215 and certain dark web monikers to assault one victim and to kidnap, assault, and extort a second victim in exchange for a cryptocurrency payment. The targets are now only identified by their initials in court documents. According to the documents, in April of 2020, SCAR paid $1,984.45 in Bitcoin to an escrow account for someone from dark website number 1 to physically assault victim number 1, breaking her hands. In later messages, he shared the victim's name and address and also sent a picture of her. In late March 2020 and early April 2021, investigators say SCAR-215 sought to hire a hitman to physically kidnap, drug, and assault victim number 2, who court documents say was Ilg's estranged wife. These messages identify victim number 2 by name, address, work location, and discuss violent acts against victim number 2, her father, and her pet dog, according to court documents. So he was even going to go after her dad and her dog, who presumably was his dog as well, since it's his ex-wife. Here's a quote from SCAR's messages. "I need a rush job for next week. I need the target kidnapped for 5 to 7 days. While being held, she is given at least daily doses of heroin. She is also strongly persuaded to do a few things within 2 weeks. 1, stop all court proceedings. 2, return to your husband and the chaos you created. 3, tell absolutely nobody about this. Also, the team should plant heroin and use needles with her DNA inside. After about 7 days, she is returned to her home." Another message from SCAR read, "The target destroyed 2 families and walked away as if she did nothing. I want the target kidnapped for 7 days. While being held, she will be given injections of heroin at least 2 times per day. She will be taught to do it herself, and pics and videos of her doing on her own should be collected. Also, while being held, all means necessary will be done to get the following goals within 2 weeks of her release. First, cancel all court proceedings immediately. Second, return to the cash she left with her husband and the third party she invited into the house. And third, she will absolutely tell nobody about her kidnapping and goals. She should be told that her family's health, including her father, and her kids, depend on her completing these rules. It would be unfortunate if her older boy became addicted to heroin, or her dad be severely beaten, or her dog be slaughtered. Any and all persuasion should be used. This needs to be done within 2 weeks. Now, though, think about how dark and twisted that is. Presumably the dog was also his, since this was his ex-wife. Obviously, this is his ex-wife that he's doing this to. His father-in-law, he was essentially threatening. And I don't know if his ex-wife's oldest son is also his son, but at the very least, it was presumably his stepson. So this is pretty twisted. It's also kind of strange how he thinks that this whole situation would go down without her realizing that he was the one who actually did all of this. According to the court documents, SCAR 215 offered a bonus if certain goals were achieved. In another message printed in the court documents, SCAR 215 said the hitman would get an extra bonus if the victim asked her husband to return home and having sex with him at least 3 times within a 2-week time frame. SCAR 215 writes, "It is important to note that her husband does not know this is happening." I assume he's talking about himself. Again, SCAR 215 is identified in court documents as Ilg, the victim's estranged husband. After sending those messages, the FBI said Ilg transferred thousands of dollars of Bitcoin into an account with the escrow service. In court documents, this message, SCAR 215, said on April 8th of 2021 at 1926 military time, "Please have your man begin this weekend and send a timeline and pics and videos the day he starts as verification. I will do my best to answer any and all questions in a timely manner." Once the FBI received the messages, they went about trying to identify SCAR 215. Through a service called Coinbase.com, they obtained records of the financial transactions. The account in question was linked to a Coinbase account under the name Ron Ilg. The account also is associated with Ilg's known phone number, email address, and social security number. On April 11th, the FBI searched Ilg's home on East Ulig Road. According to court documents, agents found a locked safe inside the home, which contained, among other things, a sticky note with the moniker SCAR 215 and an apparent password written immediately below SCAR 215. Using the name and password, the FBI was able to access the messages that requested the kidnapping and extortion. The court documents contain screenshots of messages. The documents also contain text messages sent between Ilg and a witness in which they referenced the plan to use Bitcoin to hire someone to kill the victim. In an interview with the FBI, the victim said she married Ilg in 2016 and they have a child together. She said Ilg invited the witness in the case to join their relationship in 2018. As time passed, the victim became uncomfortable with their relationship. They've now entered into a contentious divorce. The victim also provided text messages from another woman with whom Ilg discussed a kidnapping scenario as some part of a sexual fantasy, according to court documents. The FBI also spoke with the first victim in the case, the one whose hands were to be broken. She said they previously worked together and she believed Ilg had a grudge against her for a complaint that was filed against him. According to court documents, Ilg admitted to using the dark web to hire a hitman and acknowledged using the moniker SCAR 215. He said he used a track phone to contact a hitman on the dark web, but claimed that the phone was tossed into a swimming pool in Mexico by the witness in the case after she suspected Ilg of using the phone to talk to other women. Ilg also admitted to transferring cryptocurrency from his account with Coinbase.com to sites on the dark web related to the hitman investigators wrote. He didn't admit hiring someone to harm the victims, though. He said he was actually hiring a hitman to kill him as a way of committing suicide. The day after the interview, the Spokane County Sheriff's Department called the FBI and said Ilg tried to kill himself. Investigators located Ilg lying unconscious on the floor and a medication sheet with 46 missing Xanax pills. They also found a suicide note next to a business card for the FBI special agent. The note contained messages for both the witness and the victim. In the message to his estranged wife, the note said, "You mocked my love. Why?" He also asked the victim to share half of what his will would leave to her with the witness. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison. He's hired a high-profile Spokane attorney, Carl Orlesquich, to defend him. They'll argue for his release at a detention hearing Wednesday. Federal prosecutors wanted Ilg held in jail until his trial, saying he's a high risk to leave the area. So that is definitely one of the craziest darknet murder plots we've ever seen. Very, very twisted. As always, would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this story. So go ahead and drop those down below. If you guys enjoyed today's story, do me a favor and hit that hit that thumbs up button down below the video. That'll help this video in the YouTube algorithms and help more people see it. So if you found it interesting, give it a thumbs up. That's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, again, give it a thumbs up and we'll catch you on the next one.